Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Trying something new with this upload. I have been a long-time Gran Turismo player, and now that I can play online with Gran Turismo 7 after getting my PS5 last summer, um, thought I'd upload some of the gameplay that I've done. So this is my first one that I recorded back in July of 2022 at Interlagos. It's a Group 4 race, and it's one of the first times that I was racing online and kind of learning how to do things. And what I've learned actually is it's helped me become a better driver and just keep things more clean than when you're racing against the AI in arcade mode. So in this race, started off pretty clean here on the first lap and just trying to get a feeler for how things are going to go. Nothing too crazy here. Started off in 5th. So far, haven't lost any places. But I'm going to lose one right now. So if you'll remember of Summer 22, the Group 4 meta was this Alpha 155, and most people were using that car to, to dominate and be successful. But I've never actually driven that car. I tend to have gravitated towards other cars. Currently in this race, I am driving the Viper, the Group 4 Viper. One thing you'll notice, these are my first couple laps here, is that I was trying to figure out where the track limits were here at Interlagos. There's pretty wide shoulders and rubble strips, and I've learned as the race goes on that you can pretty much be pretty aggressive on these. There's pretty lenient track limits here, and you can really make the use of the curbs pretty nicely. So again, my first lap went pretty well. Made up a place back here from that car getting a penalty, but as you will see here in just a few short seconds, one of the things that you got to focus on is your braking points, and I should be braking right here, but I'm not. I actually start braking right here, which is just late enough to where I completely miss the turn-in point, and luckily ghosted so I didn't run that guy off the road. But this puts me back into a group of cars and really screws up my whole line and flow through the Senna S's there. And of course I got a penalty for going off the track there in the second, I think it was turn 2. As I go down here to turn 4, again I miss my braking point and really, go off the track again, and I'll pick up another penalty here for track limits. So now I'm just trying to clean up the race and try to salvage whatever I can out of this poor start to the race. As you can see in this section, I really start to explore the limits of the track limits. Like right there, I thought I would have been out and gotten a penalty. Didn't. You'll see Mr. R. Smith here. I'll be seeing him again several times this race. But like I said, these shoulders and the track limits like there, that's still not going to give me a penalty, even though I was way inside. Which I would have thought would have given me a penalty. So I use this information for later in the race to really, take advantage of the track. Like right here, no track penalty. So, it's really lenient, but there are some times where it's not. That, can be a little bit confusing. You have to really figure out the track limits sometimes. So there I served my 1 second penalty, and just hopefully it can salvage something better out of lap 3 coming up. Got 2 cars coming up on my tail. One of them is R. Smith, who, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to see him several times this race. Got my braking point right this time, except I went off just a bit into the grass, so it just screwed up this whole turn. So let's see if I can salvage here. Looks like I am within track limits here both times. Try to get a run on these guys, pick up a little bit of slipstream. Here they are, a couple guys serving penalties later in that lap. So let's see if lap 4 can be any bit better. Make up some more positions. We've already gained back a couple that we've lost. Go down here the main straight, hit the braking point now. Good. Avoid the car coming on the inside. He was way off track limits. Kept our line nicely. Let's see if we can reel in R. Smith and the other car right beside him as they are fighting down the back stretch. Now, Interlagos is not one of the best tracks for me. I tend to really struggle with this middle section. This middle section, I just can never get right. It's very very rare that I am able to get a decent lap time out of this middle section coming up here. But right now I'm just trying to keep up with these two cars in front of me, as well as the one here coming up on the side, while staying in the track limits and not running into anyone. Looks like I get a good run on R. Smith right here. He did not get a good run through that corner, and then get through this one as well and try to make some progress away from these guys and make a little bit of space. This last tight corner coming up is particularly one of my most challenging turns. I usually either go wide or I just cut it too slow, and I just can't get through there with a good lap time. But got a decent run out of it this time, trying to stay clear of making contact with these two guys here, get a good entrance through there. And I believe all three cars behind me have penalties, so they're going to fall away a bit here as we go up becomes the front stretch here. So all I got to do is keep my momentum up and make sure I hit my braking points at the top of the hill. Now, as you can see at this point on lap 5, I have been, doing a personal best here through the first sector, but unless R. Smith and the other WRX are coming up behind me, they didn't lose too much time in the last lap from that penalty. So through this middle section here, I really have to make sure I'm on top of it and stay ahead of them, or not lose as much time as possible. We've got the WRX coming up pretty close here, and R. Smith is right behind him in the 155. See if we can hold these guys off for the last lap and a half or so. Another personal best sector here in sector 2, so not too bad, but R. Smith is still right behind me, and he's actually going to get a good run on me up the hill here as we make it through. Neither one of us have penalties, so at this point now I'm just, again, this was the meta at that time, so just got to follow him, try to get a slipstream behind him up the main straight towards turn 1. Coming up to the start finish line, making use of that slipstream, getting real close, make sure I don't run into him. Try to get him on the inside here, brake early so that we don't come into contact, try to make a good line. He does not. I kind of missed my braking point as well, so we're kind of neck and neck here as we go through the Senna S's. I get the better part of him for this point, but he is right behind me again. Check my rear view mirror there. Now, one reason I like the bumper cam as opposed to a lot of people you'll see doing the hood cam, I like the bumper cam because you get the rear view mirror. So not only do you have the radar, but you've also got a mirror to kind of keep in the peripheral vision, make sure you kind of know where everybody's at any point. So we're fighting here through, now entering sector 2 on the last lap. See if we can hold them off. All right, so coming in here, R. Smith's got a run on me. He's got the inside line. Try to give him some space, and he's getting by me right there. See if I can keep up with him through this section, which is, as I said earlier, not my best. He goes wide, totally misses it, and comes back on here. Does he get a penalty? For sure, that's a track limits penalty. See what we got there. Going into one of the last tight hairpins here, still no penalty. So I'm not sure how he did it, but sticking with him, trying to see if I can get back at him with the slipstream coming up the front straight here. Make a good exit there. Get up beside him and just can't quite get there. Go off the grass a little bit, and now at this point he's just running away from me. There's not any chance I'm going to be able to get back to him here before the start-finish line. So this is going to be a P6 to end this race here. Lost one position overall. Lost a few early, then gained them back, and was able to minimize the penalties, but came away with a P6. So not too bad on a course that I'm not the greatest at. So let me know what you think of this gameplay review. Leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already.